In this video, we will discuss how you can generate a freight quote in Machship. If you are a warehouse or dispatch user for Machship, when you log into the system, you will see this screen. You can navigate through to create a quote simply by selecting this Get a Quote option. If you don't see this screen, you can also navigate through to create a quote via hitting Create Manage and Create Quote. The Create Quote screen in Machship will require the user to only provide the minimum fields that are needed in order to generate a freight quote. That information is the sending location, the delivery location, the date and time that the freight is going to be sent, and also a listing of the items that are going to be shipped. Locations can be added to a freight quote in multiple ways. If you're selecting from a saved location, you can select from the Very Frequent Locations drop-down, or alternatively, you can type in the location name and select from the item that returns. If you are just adding in a new suburb, you can type in the suburb name and you'll see that Machship will give you a listing of applicable suburbs. You can also do this by typing in the postcode. Similar logic would apply for the delivery location, where you can add from the Very Frequent Locations drop-down, type in for a saved delivery location, or alternatively put in the suburb name or the postcode and select from the type ahead that returns. Once you have specified the locations that the freight is going from and to, you will then need to tell us what the date and time is that the freight is going to be sent. Machship will set the date and time to be the current date and your next available hour based on your local time zone. You can adjust the time to be up and back by selecting the two arrows. You can change from AM to PM by clicking this box. You can also type in the time by using the text fields that are provided. If you need to change the date, click on the calendar icon and then select the date from the calendar that is returned. Quoting will also allow the user to provide a reference. This reference is a free text field and is non-required. It can be set to be whatever you like and will also appear in the reference field when searching any saved quotes at a later point in time. To finalise the freight quote, you will need to provide us with the shipping items. Items can be added by selecting from the Very Frequent Items drop-down, by typing in and selecting a saved item, or by manually adding a new item, which can be done by adding the item type, putting in the length, width, and height, all in centimetres, adding the weight in kilos, putting in the quantity of those items, and clicking the plus icon. From there you'll see that particular item is added to the freight quote. If you need to add multiple items to the quote, you can do this by once again selecting from the Very Frequent Item drop-down, by typing in and selecting a saved item, or as before, typing in the item type and dimensions of a new item. Once all the information is provided, generate the quote by selecting Get Prices. Machship will then query all your available carriers and services and return to you a listing of options that can complete the particular job. The freight quotes will be presented to you ordered from lowest to highest. Machship will also present you the freight quote inclusive of both fuel and any taxes. Freight quotes will also be presented to you with an ETA. These ETA options are calculated off the carrier's known transit durations. In this instance, you can see that Hightrans has the more expensive option that would deliver same day. TNT is the significantly cheaper option, but it would be delivered next day. In order to select and progress on the freight quote, simply click on the quote. You will see that the quote will expand, presenting you more information about the particular movement. This information includes pickup and delivery details, any cut-offs, the actual lane that's being used, a breakdown of the actual item dimensions and total volumes and weights that are being sent, a listing of any optional surcharges. These are surcharges that cannot be known from the sending, delivery or item information. In this example, it's a residential pickup or delivery. You can add this surcharge to the quote by clicking on the option and you'll see the price is added in. Once you have checked off all the details about the quote, you can then progress by either saving the quote by clicking on this button or converting it into a consignment by selecting the arrow and going and create consignment. In this instance, I'm just going to save the quote. If you have saved the quote, it will be listed in your saved quotes grid. This listing can be easily accessed via Create Manage and View Quotes. If at a later point in time you are wanting to convert this quote into consignment, you can go to the View Quotes page, find the quote in question, Then select the cog on the right hand side and select Create Consignment. You will then be taken through to the Create Consignment screen where you can convert your quote into a consignment. This Create Consignment screen will have all the details of the quote preset. And that is how you can go about generating a freight quote in Machship.